The lessons that you learn in creating a company, as all of you know, are much more profound and more effective than reading in any book or anything else. So the greatest teacher for me has been the company, the ups and the downs, the making the tough decisions and so on. So that has really taught me about how to deal in business. I had a foundation called Born to be Free, which at the end had to admit it failed, because it's wanting to give money and actually giving money out is they're completely two different things. And why I like to say that at the beginning, to show that we fail, we do fail, and as entrepreneurs, as company owners, you have to accept that you're going to fail a lot. And this is probably the biggest takeaway from everything that I'm going to say today is you're going to fail, but the point is about learning how to readjust your goals, right, and your steps. The second point that I want to talk about is relating to this quote, which says, people may spend their whole lives climbing the ladder of success only to find once they reach the top that the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. Because, I'm sure all of you will admit here, the first reason why we want to make money is, yeah, we want safety, but we want to spend it as well, right? We want to show people, we want to do this and do that. So it takes a different kind of level of self-awareness to reach that, you know what, the business, the creating of the business is only about spending money and enjoying life. So it was that period where I started sort of growing in my own self-awareness, being simply more aware of the things that I was doing. Because even though I was leading my company to success, it doesn't mean that I was a good leader. It doesn't mean I was being good to my employees. It doesn't mean I was serving my community, you know? So all these things come together as Ruka spoke about in the purpose of business and the business of purpose. There's a bigger picture than just setting up a business to make money, right? The story why I tell you this, because it's a wake-up call, because when the money comes, everybody goes left, right, they don't know what they're doing, basically. So that's why this concept of leading from within, or the road less traveled that we're talking about, is very important and very effective, even in the long run. And I use the word effective, but I mean, like, if you can make money in 3 years, no problem. But can you make money over 20 years, over 30 years? That's the challenge. So that's where I'm talking about the within, so that you are comfortable with yourself, with your actions, and what you're doing is translating to your work and to your people and to your employees. So that's why when I say leading from within, counters when we say leading from the outside, because you can bring in consultants, you can bring in, Ruka can come and help me and give me a plan. She can give me the best strategy. She can do whatever she wants. But if I don't, because she's not going to stay at work all the time, right? Because the whole point of this is that if you are not up to it, if I don't understand this concept, if I don't understand how to implement them, it's not going to work. And as entrepreneurs, as founders, as CEOs, as C-suite managers of your departments, it is essential that you have to grow as well. It's not only about the company. The person and the leader are inseparable. You can't say, I'm a marketing officer in my company, and at work, I'm another person. At home, I'm another person. You can't say I'm an engineer, and then at home, I'm just a normal person. The two are inseparable. Who you are being, you're going to bring this to your work. You as a person are the same person who's running that company. Who you are being, that's single most important, who you are. If you are screaming all the way, turn your back and you'll see the employee you screamed at is screaming at the other people as well. If you come in early, they come in early. If you come in late, they come in late. Unfortunately, that's how it is. What is key is the self-development, the growth of you as a person. You can't use technology, bring in technology and say that I'm going to let this guy use the technology, and when you don't have a clue about it as well. I'm not saying you have to be tech savvy, but you need to know something about it. If you don't learn it, if you don't grow yourself to learn it, How can you check on other people? And I say this only out of my practice. I don't need books to teach me what I'm saying because I've been through it. I didn't know who I was, and I was as a CEO. So you absolutely need to know yourself, what you want as well. What are your goals? Not what other people want from you, or not what your parents want from you, or the society. You know, it's very, especially like you're green. We're talking green here, right? It's so in to be green. Like everybody has to do it. Yes, you have to do yoga as well as be green and be vegan and all that. But is it really what you are? That's the question. That's the question you have to keep on asking. Authenticity is key. Having a growth mindset, as I said, we need to develop ourselves. Otherwise, we can't grow the business. Know thyself. We'll look at that. Have a clear vision and the right culture. I'll just be touching on these two because I feel like a lot of your talks already covered those. But the main, like for culture, for example, I repeat, culture is what happens when you are not in the office. That's the culture of a company. Not when you're around. When you're not in the office, what is happening? That's how you define your culture. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. I know, Ruka, you love this quote. It's a brilliant quote because it's like we're always running to be somebody else. We forget that it is we who we should be, nobody else. There's a quote, I think everybody else is taken, just be yourself, right? So that's it. The other quote I like by Brené Brown, and she has a lot of work on authenticity and vulnerability. You should read a lot about her, and not only because she's a woman, but because she brings in that vulnerability aspect, which a lot of men lack, and which is key to be a leader. And she says, authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. So when we talk about authenticity, being transparent is key if you want to grow your company. Being vulnerable is key. Like, yes, we have problems. We all need to understand that. We can't give bonuses this year, for example, because we have this problem, A, B, C, D, E. Not that we put a sign up on there's no bonuses this year. That's the opposite of being vulnerable, right? It's an order to everybody. So this is what authenticity really means. It's not about, because a lot of people, when you ask them what is authenticity, they say it's being honest, basically. It's a bit more than that. It's being you. Not just honest, because you can be honest and you can not do things that are right. That means you're not being authentic. What it is that your actions and your words confirm your values and your beliefs. That's simple what authenticity is. It's you are the true person and not an imitation, and it's a constant process. So how to be authentic? These are the three ways of really, that's key. Because as we said, we all need like direction in how to think. The 3 C's, basically, she calls them, Brené Brown. They are courage, connection, and compassion. And courage, let me just define them a bit. Courage doesn't mean you have to do the biggest moves in your life, jump into a river and save somebody's life, or give somebody one of your kidneys. They're all very, very good, but we're talking about little things like courage. Like in a setting like this, if you don't understand something, a lot of people are afraid to ask. They will look like they don't really understand. It takes courage just to ask a question, or it takes courage to be at work and say, really, I can't do the work today, or something. I failed in my work, and giving you the feedback. So little things of daily points, you need to be courageous about it and direct. I think from now on, maybe we do questions after every slide, because now I think it's more on the ground, practical. The other point is connection. Again, we are losing our connection. I know in Ghana and other third world countries, connection is still much better than Europe and the States and the rest of the world. But still, we are losing our connection because of the phones, computers. COVID didn't help with the remote, obviously, remote access. the point is, I don't know where I heard it or read something. At first, we used to meet each other, right? Then we had the phone. Values, I think, did you speak about values, Ruka? No. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'll just mention a few things that the values are what we are brought up with, basically, right? This is what we believe in. Because you'll see, like on the next page, we'll say, they'll give you this exercise. Sit down 15 minutes and choose your values. Like you look at the list and well, values are not things that you can choose for in 5 minutes. It's who you are all along. It's what you've been brought up with. It's what your family believe in. Whether right or wrong, you've grown up with these values, right? And they can be very small things, like how you cook certain food. You have homes that cook your food in this way. It becomes some kind of a belief or value. Or it can be religious. Maybe I believe in God or I don't believe in God. What is your value in that? Yeah, sure.
My question's around, I feel like, I guess as businesses, focus on strengthening our like structures and our system, and then we'll get to a point where then you can give of yourself. But before that, I feel like we'll be sucking.
No, but,
yeah, it's too much.
But meanwhile, what you can give is give to your work and employees and the people around you. Why not? I mean, there's nothing stopping you doing it now.
Right.
But then it also brings to the point of you believe in something.
Right.
How do you make sure your business follows that? You know, there's always that, and you've given very good examples of that.
And that's what the why is important. And you all work on that, on the vision. Yeah.
You know, it's also about sequencing. You know, in business, we talk about sequencing a lot. So you have a minimum of 3-year strategy, 5-year strategy, 7-year strategy or 10-year strategy, and you sequence activities, and you even the outcomes that you'll have over the 10 years is sequenced. Some outcomes will come in year 3, others will come in year 7, and whatever it is. Same with values, right? Your value is going to be tested, but in the beginning of anything, and any venture, it's not going to be perfect. You build up to it, right? You build up to that, perfection or aspirational or whatever it is. So you may just decide that, in the first, few years, yes, I have 7 values or whatever it is, but I'm going to, for this business, discipline is number 1. Everybody comes to work on time. Everybody does what it is that they're supposed to do. Even with in terms of your business partners and suppliers, it's all about discipline. I mean, I've sort of like, I've known, no, not for too long, but, I remember when we were working together, one of the things that, more really, he wants to live his values. And there was just focus on, but it was later on. I'm sure by the time I met you, you've been in business for about 20 years or whatever it is. But at that stage, he felt that you could really now, really pivot the culture of the organization. So we used to have this every 2 weeks, this CEO Speak series, where we just do a talk. If you want to come, don't come. If you want to come, or his staff, right? And they could come from Kumasi or Takrady, you pay, come. And then would say it's really important for you to be, for instance, one thing to say that it's important for you to be very happy, in life and with your work, right? And if chemo doesn't give you all the joy that you need, maybe you need to, think about something different. Failure is also as good as an experience as success. What I mean by that is that there's so many things that you learn from failing, and failure is part of your trajectory. Sometimes it was meant to be that you would fail so that you would learn certain things from that failure. So don't personalize failure. It's like it's somebody that marries and gets a divorce, and then do you define yourself by that divorce? Of course not. I mean, it didn't work out. That union, you tried, it didn't work out. So same thing in business. Failure is just part and parcel of it.
As long as you like reflect and analyze and go the right way afterwards, yeah. There's an example years ago I heard, like, we are like rockets being propelled to the moon, right? A rocket, when it's sent to the moon, is off course by 97%. So it's starting here, and there should be, so that's on its way. It's self-correcting. So I feel like that's how we are in our lives and our businesses. You start off with these, maybe your vision will turn out not to be exactly what you thought at the beginning. You've self-corrected, then it ends up to be exactly what you want. But the point is about action, going towards it. Vision, goals and objectives so that you do it, and actions. That's the single most important thing. I've done 1 million plans. I sit and watch them, I admire them. So what if it goes without action? Right culture, again, I'll just mention these few. As I said, it's in the corridors of your work. It's in the places where you're not around. What it is at the end of the day, it's the belief that there are the values and the belief that you have in the company. There could be systems or principles of behaviors, like the Bushidos, the Japanese samurai, have a set of principles that they follow. For why I bring them as an example, it's like 5,000 years. I don't know how old it is, or not maybe 5,000, maybe 2 or 3,000. Set of principles that these Bushido samurai who are still alive, who they follow. So that's a culture was set then, and it's still being practiced now. Why? Because there are a set of principles. And when you bring in your values to a company cultures, they could be very simple things, whether it's we work 3 days a week. This is our culture. We don't accept phone calls after 5 o'clock because that's what we believe in. Or you can say another thing could be we get things done. We have a task. It's going to be done within a day, within 24 hours. This should be done. These are things that you bring into the culture of a company. And it goes in for years and years and years. And you'll find that if you don't sort of keep them going or have them sort of written, printed out and repeated. They say about vision, you create the vision, then the second thing is you repeat it all the time. It's the same thing with the culture. You don't repeat it with verb, you repeat it by action, by what you do and what you don't do as well. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. That's a whole, because culture is a whole talk on its own. So let's end with this. So as I'm saying, it's not about the quote, it's about the power of leading from within and what we mean by it. You see, at the end, mastering ourselves is the power. That's what you're unleashing, the power within. Without that, yes, you can achieve some success, but you're not going to be able to fulfill what you are and what you want from your team and your culture, your company. So as I will repeat that, we are inseparable from the entrepreneur. The person and the entrepreneur are the same. What you bring into the room are your limiting beliefs as well as your strengths. There are your values as well as your personality traits. There are the baggage that you carry from your family, your upbringing, from your church, from your society, as well as the things that you are learning. So always have that in mind when you're developing your business. And also the thing that's important is always recheck, re-ask yourself, have some time for analysis. Every 1 year maybe or something, take a few days, a weekend, and just completely reanalyze yourself and what is affecting the culture of your company and your company as a whole. So I'll end it there. And if there's any questions, we can continue, obviously. I'll be more than happy to do that. And at the end of the day, you see, we missed something, just a final point, is that this business that with the enterprise, it's just a challenge for you to become a better person. That's it. Same thing as a marriage or a relationship or whatever. If you want to break it down, like when you're dying on your bed or when you go somewhere else, What are you going to take from the business? Nothing. It's who you became after that business. That's it. All the challenges and all the tests that we faced.